5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I guess we kick it to the big one.
Yeah, there's a reason I chose myself to go first, because my number one is probably the biggest cop-out I've ever done on this show. It is my remake for the year. And if you've listened to our sister show on Radio Redux of our greatest games of all time, this shouldn't come as any surprise to you. This is Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door, a remake for the Switch, and was my number one game of all time for the GameCube version. So, is this a perfect recreation?
No.
No, nothing ever will be.
Now, here's the thing: do I think the decrease in frame rate really harms the game? No.
I'm going to say you said no.
I'm going to say no if you've never played the original before. If you have fond memories of the original, it's gonna screw around some of your timings. And to be quite frank, I found it impossible with the new frame rate to do any of the multi-bonks, and it was really annoying. However, if you've never played the original before, just get this version. I do think them sacrificing the frame rate to make it look prettier was a little bit unnecessary, but I can't say that the new graphics aren't a delight and all the new little animations. It's the little touches that does it, that makes it, you know, just shine a little bit better. But as a faithful remake, it is down to the T. The few things they've changed for the most part are either sensible or harmless. So the frame rate is the only one that I think the frame rate is the big one that most people complain about. Yes, I'm going to complain about it, but that's because I played the original. But I found this version perfectly playable, perfectly enjoyed it. I have other minor niggles. I think I mentioned this when we were reviewing the game in LMC cast. I find it very weird that they only have one song theme for the Pit of 100 Trials when they have a selection of battle themes they could have used for every 10 floors. But hey, that's their decision. The other new piece of content is there's two new secret bosses. And both of them pretty much feel like middle fingers to old school players. Like they're specifically designed to screw with, you know, the optimum techniques for speedrunners, etc. Which feels a bit off, but they're not terrible bosses. One of them I feel like they've also just picked from a ROM hack, as in wholesale lifted it, which feels a bit weird. But I still think this is one of the best turn-based RPGs ever. I love the audience mechanic in this game. So while we have the audience with Princess Peach, every single battle in Paper Mario has an audience. What do? Well, they are what charge your special meter gauge. The better performance you give defeating enemies, the more they cheer, the more your special gauge goes up. And you can enhance that by doing stylish moves, which are basically you pressing a button in between your standard moves to just make Mario or whoever your partner is do a little bit of a flourish. But it can also, you know, put off your timing of doing some of the attacks as well. So, you know, just practice. Yeah, and the other thing I love about it is that it takes the Mario tropes and makes absolute fun of it. You know, whereas, you know, usually you have your typical Mario things like oh, it's your grassland, it's your Iceland, all that stuff. So yeah, your first one's a little bit typical. You have your grassland where you fight a dragon, and then partway through the fight, the dragon will try and convince you to, you know, give up and just look, please don't hurt me anymore. I'm just gonna, you know, bugger off. And if you forgive her, she'll then attack you. If you don't forgive her, she'll kind of slink off. And then suddenly come and eat half the audience and get their health back anyway. And it's those little touches. Like, the third chapter is a wrestling tournament. Because, why not? One of the other silly things is that because Mario's in a land where he's not as well known, everybody gets his name wrong. So, and every chapter they call him a different thing. I think in the first one it's just Martio, but it gets to the point where it's like, ah yes, you're Luigi, right? It's like, no. It's like, oh, don't be modest. I know you're the great Luigi. No one else could ever smart those overalls and brown boots and jump so well as well. Oh yeah, Luigi's got his own side story you can talk to him about between every chapter. It's the only thing I would like to say is it would have been nice if we, you know, maybe got to do that adventure at some point, but this is actually also one of the games that Mario has the most personality. There are some slow parts of the game, but usually those slow parts are there to purposely get you to level up to make sure you're prepared for the next part of the game. But I feel like it's got lovable characters, a memorable story. Its weakest part is right at the end of the game with the final boss. But the stuff leading up to it is great. Oh, and there's also subsections where you get to play as Bowser in classic Mario levels. Except that Bowser can get like the superstar and just walk through the level massively. But yeah, this is a cop-out. But I genuinely think it's the game I've had the most fun with this year. Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door for the Switch.
Nah, it's not a cop-out. Perfectly valid.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it a cop-out. That's all.
I would, because I really didn't. I was originally, my plan was I was going to say this was banned from the list because it's already been number one on a different list.
No, but it's a new game. It's fine.
The
It's a
problem
remake.
was, like, I didn't.
I mean, some people will obviously question that you had the Final Fantasy VII
Yeah.
Rebirth on and this.
Yeah.
In which case, just replace,
But-
you know, move everything up one and put Astrobot as number 5. But
There you go.
yeah,
Problem solved.
but honestly, these were the games I had the most fun with this year, and Paper Mario for me is still a classic. I 100%ed it. I have the badge that turns Mario solid gold, which does nothing except be cosmetic. You know, there's other little secrets like, oh yes, there are 2 badges in the game, a Wario badge and a Luigi badge, which change your outfit color. The Luigi badge changes you to green, the Wario badge changes to yellow. So what happens if you put both badges on at the same time?
Waluigi badge. Yay! No Waluigi erasure.
Yeah, no, Waluigi gets his representation. It's just you have to equip both the Wario and the Luigi badge.
Okay,
Yeah,
I like that.
I
Makes
just love
sense.
this game. And I still think this has done nothing but cement it as my favourite game of all time. So, if you like turn-based RPGs, I heavily advise you go play it. But that's my number 1. Turbo.
Yeah, so my number one for this year of 2024 is probably gonna, confuse people because, as I said at the start, I do like my, kind of like simple games. Like I like simple games just as much as anyone who likes their ultra hard games.
Dark Souls.
So it's kind of surprising. Yeah, so it's kind of surprising that I have a very challenging game, almost Souls-like, if you will.
Elden Ring. No, I'm joking.
As my number one. Now, granted, it's not a Souls game, and it's not done by the Souls team in any way, shape, or form. It's not done by FromSoft.
Oh, not Shadow of the Erdtree then.
No, but it's sort of taking aspects from it, but it's more akin to another game that I actually had a recent collaboration with, and that is Stellar Blade.
This is on my to-do list, but I have not found it at a price that I'd be happy to pay for it yet.
I also, while I was looking at the best-selling games on PlayStation 5, Stellar Blade was at the bottom. I think that was like number 10 or something. So yeah, again, 2 top bestsellers of this year.
Yeah, well, I mean, this being the 10th bestseller, and it's not in the running for a lot of Game of the Years in certain aspects, in certain publications, but by God, I'm gonna give it its roses here, because I think Stellar Blade needs to have a little bit more appreciation, in my opinion, because even though Eevee is such a blank slate character and whatnot, eventually you can eke some eke out some I wouldn't say personality, but some funny moments with her if you're doing certain quests and whatnot. And then you got the serious moments that can be a little too over serious, but that's funny sometimes. Some people like that. They like to see the absolute camp of it all and whatnot, or the cheese factor when it comes to serious storylines with character designs and whatnot that are portrayed in such an elaborate over-glorified method and whatnot. But I still had fun. Even though, now granted, I was playing on the standard difficulty, and that was challenging enough as it is. I didn't go out of my way to put it on higher difficulty unless I was playing it on a repeated playthrough, which I think I did for my New Game Plus, because they did initially have just a single playthrough mode to it, but then with an update they added a New Game Plus, and they added harder difficulties to it, and I think I did bump it up from normal to hard in my New Game Plus run, and I think that was enough challenge for me. Really, I didn't want to go any higher and whatnot. Otherwise, I'd be tearing whatever left is on the top of my head, and then start tearing out my beard. And people don't like me to tear out my beard because they don't like me clean shaven. I can understand that. So don't make me angry, and I won't do that. But no, Stellar Blade, in terms of gameplay mechanics, it is more akin to Nier Automata than anything else. And ironically enough, they just did a collaboration. The two directors for both Stellar Blade and Nier Automata, and they love each other's work, and they really wanted to do this collaboration, and I'm glad they did it. Granted, it's not a major collaboration, it's just licensing out character costumes for Eevee and other characters to wear in the game. It doesn't impact any kind of gameplay additional gameplay stuff. It doesn't incorporate any other an alternative story.
That's a shame.
To the game, and it doesn't add any trophies to the game either, so it's just there for cosmetic appreciation, effectively, for people who both like Nier and Stellar Blade. So but overall, I had a really good time with it. I actually had a good time, even though I died. Whenever I die, I would send back to my last checkpoint, but it's not like a Souls game where you lose everything that you collected in that run before you die. You have to go back to where you died and then pick up everything that you lost and whatnot. Like all your upgrades and stuff like that, they're all and all the kind of like material for those upgrades, they're all backed up as soon as you collect them and whatnot. And when you go back to the last checkpoint and whatnot, you still have all that stuff, unless it's becoming more it becomes more like Souls-like in the higher difficulties. But from what I played, it was it was Souls in essence, but not in method.
I feel like Nier Automata is a better comparison from what I've seen. And the other one I've seen people compare it to, which makes sense with Nier, would be Revengeance.
Yeah, Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. Yeah. It definitely has. It has. Yeah, the combat is not as fluid as, say, a Bayonetta, but it is in tandem to Revengeance, definitely, with the the blade works and stuff like that you're working. You're granted, obviously, you're not Zazum. I've forgotten the terminology for it, but you're not slicing out a person's electronic spine.
Oh, Zandetsu.
Zandetsu, yeah.
Zandatsu.
Yeah. You're not doing that. Eve's not doing that.
Shame.
But she should. But that's the thing. It's like
what's stopping you?
The studio behind this, they did another game called. This was their first time making a console game, because prior to that they were noted for being that one studio who made the mobile game with big assets in their characters.
Okay, that's
in the form of a game called Nikki.
Oh right, yes, I've definitely heard of that one.
Yeah.
Oh, never played it myself.
Yes.
Yeah, and
no, I've seen ads for it.
Yes, you've seen the ads for it.
I've seen a lot of fan art for
it. It is what it is. Yeah. So they have a certain taste in terms of character design and whatnot, and it is evident in Stellar Blade to a certain point.
You say
with Eve.
I mean, you say that Platinum Games had something of that. They even gave Raiden high heels, so.
Yeah, it's like it's evident, but again, it goes back to Nier Automata, that they have that kind of like character design for 2B and whatnot, and eventually A2, I think her name was.
Yes.
When you meet up with her, it is the same kind of thing. You just wanted to. They have appreciation for the female character type, and of course it was very evident with the characterization of Eve, where they actually based it off a real person's body. And it's like that body type, that body, kind of like design, is that of a real person. So it's like
motion capture.
I mean, you can't get any better than that.
Yeah.
If you're obviously you get all these games that are mocapping like real people and whatnot and real precision. Well, there you go. That was as close as you can get to someone who is of that stature, of that kind of like design and whatnot, and not be over the top like in other Japanese kind of like spectacle and action games.
Her legs are slightly shorter than Bayonetta's.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Much shorter.
As a... God.
But designs aside, gameplay-wise, I actually had fun. I actually had fun with combat. I had fun trying to master countering and dodging and stuff like that, because, you got all that. And doing all the extra stuff, getting all the trophies for the game. I actually had a fun time. It was, again, one of those games I was doing for a Platinum Pursuit on my streams, and I had a good time. I had a really good time with it, and I really I'm just really disappointed in today's gaming landscape, where they can't have, they can't give a game that was designed. Now, granted, it has no originality to it, definitely nothing to it. But what does anymore? Originality is very bare nowadays.
We're on evolution.
Yeah.
We take what exists and we make it better.
Exactly. All right, we try our best, and they did a really good job for their first attempt. This studio, Shift Up, giving it this console game their first run. It's a good attempt. It's a really good contender, and it really is. It did try to fall into that, Souls-like kind of like action game that people have been, eating up for the last decade or so. In terms of like, oh, we love this sort of game. It gives us a real good challenge and blah blah blah. But I'm just so disappointed in the industry this year, where they completely lambasted this game for no reason. And yet, it's not even getting nominated. It's barely in the contention for Game of the Year for a lot of publications. So I'm gonna give it here. Stellar Blade, my number 1 for this year. I can't say any more about it.
Yeah, it's definitely a game I want to play. To be fair, the thing that pushed me towards wanting to play it was actually people comparing it to Revengeance more than Dark Souls. I think more for the higher pace action. I don't think it's got quite the slow methodicalness of the Dark Souls games, but I'd have to play it to really tell. I did have a fun side story though, in the fact that the outfit designs for the Nier characters got expanded upon in Final Fantasy XIV. There's a whole crossover series of events that are still in the game because they were a core part of one of the expansions. So they redesigned new versions of like 2B's outfit and 9S's outfit for all of the different types of classes you can do. But you can just get 2B's outfit as well, and male and female characters can wear it. So...
Well, I'll definitely say this, since like both Final Fantasy and Stellar Blade's collaborations with Nier Automata are way better than Rainbow Six's attempt at it.
Oh, also, 14's one is technically canon to Nier canon now.
Well, there you go.
So...
But yeah, Stellar Blade that's my number 1. ShadowFox, what is your number 1 for this year?
Oh, my number 1 for this year. I think there was only one game I could nominate for this. It is a game where I would give my life not for you, but for honor, for democracy, for liberty, for Super Earth.
Oh, this is also on my to-do list at some point.
I was going to say, I didn't think that Metal Gear Solid Delta came out this year.
It hasn't yet.
No, exactly. Not yet.
It's out next year, though.
No.
Yeah, it is now.
Yes, well.
They still said
more
it was coming out this year, but...
Yeah, well, more about that later on. We'll get to our honourables and future. But yes, Helldivers 2 came out early this year, and obviously, 4-player co-op games have absolutely been probably my highlight of general gaming for a while. Like all the way back from like Left 4 Dead and such. It's always been.
We've had Gunfire Reborn and
Gunfire,
Left 4 Dead. Yeah, I'm trying to think of others.
You could say Dead by Daylight.
You kind of can, but not really. It's not really there.
Swing,
but
you can swing.
I mean,
it's on the outskirts.
4 players co-oping against another player.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, the game, like, as much as people have complained about it, about balance issues and whatever, at no point since the game's release and this point has it not been fun to drop in to a war zone with such a wide variety of weapons and stratagems to do whatever you want and just blast an entire battalion or army of bugs or robots to smithereens. There's often, those moments of like, what's like the least cinematic moment in Helldivers, and it's some crazy situation. And I've been in those. I've dropped into a zone, our timers ran out, and it's like, right, if I die, I don't respawn. How do I deal with the situation? Right, there's bots here, bots there. Right, first thing to do, throw these stun grenades over there to get them red. Oh, my teammate died over there recently and had a recoilless rifle. Run. Please pray that it has an ammo in it. Yes, alright, take out the big enemy. Right, keep running, dive into the hole, get into the heavy machine gun turret, start blasting away at the enemies that are coming towards me. Oh, there's a big old dropship. Oh, please die. Yes! It's a continuous cinematic experience that you're playing. And at the same time, you can switch it up entirely and go stealth mode if you need to. Like, right, 3 of my teammates are on there doing that objective. I'm over here, sneaking, upload the document, cool down the hell bomb, activate it, run the fuck away, and objective complete. And to swing through, like, the variety of playstyles, like, I've recently I got the Chemical Commanders, I think it's called, pack, like DLC thing, which has in turn given me access to a stim gun secondary weapon, which is basically the stim dart healing all-in-one Medigel thing that's replenished health. So now I sit in the back lines, I'm shooting my teammates with healing, I cool down the bubble shields, I smoke grenade to keep them covered, which is nice because I'd bring all the heavy weapons and be like anti-tank man. Yeah, they introduced the new like level 10 hell diving difficulty, which is absolutely crazy, and I've done like 1 set of missions on there and I thought, yeah, you know what, bring it back down to 6 and 7. 6 and 7's that nice middle zone where there are the heavy enemies but you don't get completely overwhelmed, so you can survive long enough to actually do stuff. And the fact that you have this ongoing, you got the ongoing world galaxy map where, right now, we recently just built a giant space station, which has, again, divided the community, but for valid responses. They're like, you can apply buffs to the battlefield. Like, one of them is continuous eagle strikes, which is great. Eagles come flying in, they bomb the area where there's lots of enemies, and you go, great, that was amazing. The other one is the continuous orbital barrages, which do not care for friend or foe.
Chaos.
But chaos everywhere. But what's the guys who make it AH? There's always a tongue-in-cheek response to it, like, whenever there's an update in the game, it's like, yeah, someone messed up a decimal point. It was physically impossible for everyone to get 50 million machine gun kills. It's down to 5 million now. The person who mistook the decimal point has gone to a re-education camp. And they refer to as the orbital space station as a not beneficial addition to the battlefield. And it's like, they know, like, when they mess up, they kind of say, yeah, whoops, we're sorry, but in universe reason, it's funny. There was some dissenters who did a hack, the robots stole something, it's it was because we had the Starship Troopers game come out this year. This is the Starship Troopers game before that, but it feels very similar. And we've still got a third faction to arise at some point. There's still more gameplay to come, and all of the in-game stuff has been pretty much worth it. And if you play enough, you don't actually have to buy any of the in-game stuff. I bought like 2 packs of coins for like £17 or something, and I've gotten most of the packs. So there you go. It's a lot of fun. If you have 4 people to play with, you'll absolutely enjoy the chaos. And I really hope some of the LMC crew pick it up at some point, because I'd love to.
It's been on my to-do list. I'm probably going to pick it up on the PlayStation rather than the PC.
It's got crossplay, so that's fine.
But it just means it's easier to kind of get up and running. But it's just been one of those ones I keep putting it off because other things have kept me busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know me, I kind of like stick to the ones that I know will constantly keep getting supported every single time, and Dead by Daylight is obviously keeping me on my toes until it eventually says until behavior finally goes, okay, we're done, we're not gonna release any more content, we're not gonna release any more achievements. Then I can easily go, okay, now I can fill that gap in with something else.
We don't want any more money.
Yeah, I think DBD is kind of a print money license for a certain.
Annoyingly, there's a similar game that I have been playing throughout the years which added only 3 new achievements, which was less than I was expecting. Unfortunately, those achievements are ones I have to work together with another person to complete because they added online multiplayer to the game after like 10 years of it being out.
I mean, not the first game that did that. I think it's got Pilgrim versus the World.
Technically, yeah. I mean, it wasn't that large of a gap, but it was the same deal, yeah.
I think it was a 7-year gap, wasn't it?
Yeah, 5 or something like that. Somewhere around there.
But with our all of our greatest titles done, any honourable mentions you want to go out on?
I mean, it's not a game I have played yet, but I definitely want to say, the new Dragon Ball, Sparking Zero. I have always been impressed by the level of care and detail they've always made those games with. You see little things where they talk about like, hey, you've chosen your team. Hey, guess what? They have unique interactions. Yeah. Oh, hey, you've chosen Yamcha and you're against a Cyberman. If the Cyberman does the suicide bomb, you just lose because that was canon. Like they'll always add such good levels of detail to that game, and so that one's getting a little shout out from me.
Yeah, that's fair. How about you, Turbo?
Oh, I've got tons. It's like
go for it.
Got so many. So obviously, I talked about, we can only put on like 1 remake, remaster, whatever this year. I played 5 this year. It's stupid how many remasters, remakes, re-releases, whatever.
I said, yeah, we're in that period. When you were talking about your remake, I was like, which one?
Yeah, which one? It was difficult for me to choose this year.
I think I was on 5 as well.
Yeah, So the other,
I was going to guess Silent Hill.
no, actually, I didn't play Silent Hill. I was never a fan to begin with that property, so I didn't pick up the remake. But what I did pick up for this year, Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster.
Yeah.
That was this year.
That was this year. I loved it. I just wish there was a couple of things that just irked me and whatnot, but it was just not enough for me to knock another code off. Lollipop Chainsaw Repop. Again.
How is that? Because that was all licensed music, wasn't it? So what's the
well?
With
Well,
that?
actually, there is a streamer mode to remove the licensed music or change the licensed music and then use some original tracks in replacement.
Because I was actually wondering, like, did they still keep all the original?
Not all the
licensed
original
music, or
licensed music. There's some tracks that were taken out and replaced with original tracks for the game, but no, a good majority is there. I think the only one that was removed was Lollipop. I think.
Is Mickey still in there?
No.
I can't. I think it's there. I can't remember. Or no, Cherry Bomb. That's it.
Yeah.
Cherry Bomb was removed.
Cherry Bomb was definitely removed.
Yeah. But yeah, no. In terms of like gameplay, it was very janky to start with. There's been recent patches that's made it more stable and whatnot.
To be fair, wasn't the original fairly janky as well anyway?
Yeah. But I haven't played played it since I did the platinum on that, on my platinum pursuit for that. And the other one that another one that I didn't play, that it was very hard to kind of like categorize it because half of it is a remaster and half of it is new.
We debated this one.
And that's Sonic X Shadow Generations.
I think your original argument was if they had 2 platinums, one for each game, it'd be easy to separate them out. There wasn't. It was 1 platinum for both of them.
Yeah. So really, I had to categorize this as a remaster.
Because it almost feels like the Shadow bit is a DLC kind of attached.
It feels like
it feels
like a separate game. It just feels very short, I will say. It's
obviously incorporating everything that they did for Frontiers and making it obviously its own campaign, because it is a decent length campaign. It's just as lengthy, if not slightly more lengthy than what was it? The original Generations.
See, I disagree. I think it's significantly shorter. I think
I went through it when I'm 100% in completing it.
Yeah.
And I was comparing times between the two. I ended up being faster in Generations than I was in Shadow Generations, because obviously Shadow Generations was obviously the newer one. I didn't know where everything was. I didn't know what to do for everything.
I agree, but I still shaved. So, admittedly, my Sonic Generations run took me longer than my original Sonic Generations run to 100% it, which is annoying, but I blame the Chow for that one, because that was the hardest thing to find. But even with the Chow stuff's almost easier to do than trying to find all the ship parts in Shadow's stuff. That was a bit fiddly. Annoyingly, I found all of them on my own except for one, which I had to look up a guide for because it was infuriating me.
Yeah, same here.
It was the last thing I needed to do. It was in the bloody centre of the arena, wasn't it? Just behind a pillar. I just hadn't looked at.
I mean, granted, I had one that was because I did this on both PS4 and PS5. Yeah. PS4 one, it was in the water somewhere, and on the PS5, it was somewhere stupid that I could have easily found during the structures and whatnot. But no,
I agree. It was a really well done game. I just feel like I felt like it was missing bits.
Yeah. If I was allowed to have 2 entries, like 2 remasters or remakes, like technically you did, Earth, I would throw this at number 5.
See,
like I did with Sonic's Superstars.
If you'd have said like Shadow Generations as number 5, I would have said that's perfectly fine. we already
But
discussed it.
I have to class it as a full package
And
because
that's
it
fair.
is advertised as a full package. So,
Um,
but the only other one that only other game that was kind of a re-release is Rocket Knight Adventures Resparked.
yeah.
I did see that one on the list and thought that one might come up.
Yeah,
So,
and
Legends.
that's technically part of that 4, I think. So 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it is 4. The other 4. Just a re-release. ROMs being re-released. Well, I say ROMs.
Yeah.
They boast this Carbon engine to remaster or remaster these games,
yeah.
but
Forgot that came.
I really didn't see much.
You didn't feel
Yeah.
much from.
From it. They didn't put it. It's not like a retro engine kind of like job that from Christian Whitehead, where everything's at widescreen because nothing's in widescreen. It's all 4:3 aspect ratio.
With like, it's got, did they at least have nice little border pictures on the left
Yeah,
and right?
at least
or is
you
it-
got that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You,
But
you saying that has reminded me of one game that did come out this year that I haven't got round to that was also re-released on the Carbon engine. Tomba or Tombi.
Yes.
Um,
A lot of people have been talking about
yeah, I need to get round to that at some point because I didn't quite enjoy the original. But in terms of my own remakes, 2 Ace Attorney remakes this year. The
Wow.
Apollo Justice trilogy at the beginning of the year, and the Miles Edgeworth Investigations ones at the end of the year, which I haven't actually played yet because I haven't finished the Apollo Justice one yet. What else? Braid Remastered came out.
Oh,
Yeah.
did it?
I
Okay.
haven't finished that one yet. I will get round to it eventually. And I know there was one other Sonic X Shadow Generations. We already talked about. It's been a busy year with the remakes, and I know I'm missing at least 2 that I know I've played this year and I forgot about. But other than that, Rise of the Golden Idol was a fun one. Me and the Random Genius talk about it in the LMC cast. You'll probably hear it after this at some point.
Yeah, it's getting a little. Back, we're going to be splitting this in between that.
And
so
Nightmare Cart came out this year, which is a nice free play.
oh, we did. That was a fun one. Yeah,
For free, you can't complain.
I was like following that person on Tumblr for a while. It's like because it was
Yeah, it
Bloodborne Cart before Sony went stop
at
it.
least
and
Sony
then
went-
fine.
Look, we like this, but we can't let you use our IP. Can you just rebrand
No, which-
everything, and we'll let you release it? You can even sell it then.
Yeah, and I mean that is the bonus.
Although
isn't
they
it,
did,
where
it's
like-
still free. But you know,
it's still free.
at least Sony's was a please stop. We actually like this and want you to do more with it, rather than the other company that may not be named going. You're going to stop this, and we're going to sue you and put you in jail for the rest of your life.
And then we're going to take it and we're going to sell it ourselves.
No, they've never done that yet.
I don't think they've never
done
that with any of the
They've
projects.
never actually done that. No.
Yeah, they basically shut down projects that were
They could.
similar to projects that they were working on.
Yes, and arguably better.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. Any other?
Do you have any other like original stuff from this year that was still left on your list?
I think I'm going to call that it for my list. ShadowFox, Turbo.
Okay.
What about you two?
No,
Well,
I mean, I'll
I'll finish off what I had left over. Because I just before we started recording, I just finished Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. And I thought that was a good title. It's a shame that I couldn't put it in my top 5. It was a decent change to how the Zelda formula works, because you actually played Zelda this time around.
It's the Legend of Zelda.
Finally, a game where we actually play as the titular character. And, what was the other one? Emio, the Smiling Man. Famicom Detective Club. Really good story. I was on the edge of my seat with going through that game earlier this year. A really good, if you like your adventure game, again, another adventure game that I would definitely recommend. Definitely try out the first 2 Famicom Detective Club games that are on the Switch, and do pick up Emio, the Smiling Man, because it's really good. It really nail-biting stuff. Penny's Big Breakaway, I just did not find it fun.
No, I agree. I gave up after World 1. I just got bored.
Yeah, I didn't have a good time with that when I was playing through that, and it's a shame too, because the guys behind it obviously were the same guys behind the Sonic Mania game. They were very ambitious. They really wanted to make their own 3D Sonic style platformer. Execution was just a little short. Like it just like hit they aimed high, but it just slightly they slightly just went down to the curve.
So more of a dishonorable mention for that one.
Yeah. And the last game from me, a game that finally got released on consoles that was already out on PC for the longest time, Freedom Planet 2.
Yes.
I really liked it. I thought it's actually a really good improvement from the first game. However, trying to get I beat the game without doing all the requirements to get the special ending for it, and I haven't gone around to going back and doing that to get the special end, to get the true ending effectively. So, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, those are my games. That was all the games that I played this year, and my honorable mentions and slightly unfortunate mention, I suppose.
Yeah, I wasn't going to bother.
Penny's Big Breakaway.
I wasn't going to bother with my dishonorable mentions. Penny's Big Breakaway was kind of like meh. It wasn't a bad game. I just wasn't interested in it. One game I did forget is Mario and Luigi Brothership, which I haven't finished yet. But to be honest, I'm not sure I want to. I'm not enjoying it that much, which is a shame. My dishonorable mention comes from Multiverses.
Oh, that was this year.
Well,
I forgot.
Well, it's initial.
Technically,
yeah, it's like version 1.0 release.
It had its trial run last year, I think, didn't it?
But I enjoyed it, but not the fact that they kept, like, if you do not play every single mission every single day, you can't unlock new characters. It's like, well, sod that then.
Yeah, no, it's... Some games can do it better than others in that scenario. I mean, I gotta probably shout out the Pokemon card game Pocket, because that's, again, it's fun, but it's, again, a bit limited at the moment. There's definitely, metas that have been found out, and it's like, are you running the Mewtwo deck, the Pikachu deck, and it's like, if you're not running those, you're running the Articuno deck. It's like,
yeah.
And there's not much variation there, and I'm not certain that, like, the amount of free stuff it gives you versus the input time versus the money it wants to take from you, it's a little... I don't know if the balance is quite there yet.
I'm playing it I say I'm playing it. I'm doing the card collecting side of it. I'm not doing the battles. They're just frustrating. And although, to be fair, I went back to the normal online TCG over the weekend, And that's even worse
yeah.
now, because if you do not have a meta deck, you shouldn't bother playing. I have lost.
Yeah, so
I went on, tried about 5 battles. I won 1. The other 4, I never got to make a move because I was killed on the first turn. Despite the fact that shouldn't be possible.
But I think that's enough of 2024. What's 2025 got in plan for us? Like I said, is there anything super exciting you're looking for? I mean, I'll throw out at least Atom 4 because I know you can't legally.
I mean, I can say I'm looking forward to a game that I'm working on.
True. Yeah, cause it's I say because what was it? Fallout London just came out, thanks to the fan efforts of that, and this is going to be a similar dealio kind of, isn't it? If you wanted to roughly,
I mean, it's
describe it.
Essentially, what would happen if the wind scale incident blew up worse than it actually did? So yeah, it's based on the nuclear disaster of wind scale back in old England. So expect a lot of Yorkshire accents. I won't say much more than that because I'm not part of the marketing team anymore, so it's not my job. But no, yeah, that's coming out March, end of March time.
Also, Rift of the Necrodancer is coming to PC. I think that's already out on like Switch and stuff. Isn't
I
it?
think it's already out on PC, but it's early access, so.
I think I was able to play like 3 songs. I tried.
Yeah, there was a demo version, but I've seen people playing a lot more now, so I'm assuming there's a version out.
I might have to have a look then. See about
that. For me, Metal Gear Solid Delta we already mentioned.
Yep.
We've mentioned it, but we haven't talked too much about it because I definitely am very much looking forward to that one. Lots of, it looks like it's, yeah. You know, I said earlier, there's no such thing as a perfect remake. It's looking close to it though with this one. They got the new camera angle, but they said that it's like, hey, depending on which camera angle you choose, will determine like enemy AI, whether or not they.
Interesting one because they already had 2 cameras because they had the Subsistence version, which had over the shoulder and the original camera.
So yeah, I think because I think with in the Subsistence it was it's like it was still over the top, but I think you could like shift the camera around a little bit.
You had 2 camera options. You had the original, which was fixed camera with slight shifting, or over the shoulder.
Oh, okay. I didn't actually. I didn't try. I played Metal Gear Solid 2. Substance.
Yeah, I don't know why they're so badly named.
Yeah, there's a bit of a weird
I think 2 was Subsistence and 3 was Substance.
Maybe.
I'll say yes.
We're looking forward to Delta. Let's put it that way.
We're looking, yeah, it's looking good. It's looking to be faithful. It's looking to be fun.
I suppose there's my continued adventures in Final Fantasy XIV. New expansion released this year. There's still a year's worth of content to go, so see how that shapes out. How about you, Turbo?
The other one that's on my radar is the second volume of Capcom's Fighting Collection. Where Power Stone 1 and 2 is getting re-released for after
God knows how many years.
Since the PSP version of the PSP collection,
yes,
which I think was in 2007, 8.
I do actually own that. I still have my copy on the PSP.
I had a digital version ready to play on a PlayStation TV that I had it installed onto. So. But now with this new release, I'm just gonna pick up that.
Yeah.
And that's got online play, rollback netcode. Boy, howdy, is that gonna be fun as fuck.
I might have to pick up that one actually.
Yeah, I'm picking that up on Switch.
Yeah. Other than that, other than my work obligation ones,
there was
yeah, there's nothing else.
There's Orcs. Well, actually, you got Orcs Must Die.
That's
the new
true.
One's coming out.
Though I want to play more of Orcs Must Die 3 first because I never finished it because it kept crashing.
No, I did. Also, rapid firing Killing Floor 3. That's coming out.
See
there was some
when that comes out.
So, yeah. And what was it? On Your Tail, the sort of mystery adventure beach setting game. And I think that might really much be it in terms of things that I'm aware of. I was going, it's time to go to the Wikipedia page for video game announcements that are coming out, and it's like,
maybe we'll leave
it?
that for another video.
Yep.
But I think that's a good place for us to wrap up for this session. My thanks to Turbo and ShadowFox for once again being my allies in this great recall of the year.
You're very welcome.
It's always a fun one.
We'll probably be back next year. One would hope.
I bet we'll be doing this every year until
video games stop being a thing.
Or before they stop releasing more than 5 games a year.
Oh yes, we're all just going to get caught up in the expanded Fortnite multiverse of games.
Yeah.
Please no.
No, that vortex is definitely one I do not want to be a part of.
But on the plus side, Miku's here now.
Oh god.
So
that's still not gonna make me play it. Nothing's gonna make me play that bloody game.
Same here, to be honest. However, from myself, from Turbo, and from ShadowFox, we all wish you a happy new year, and we'll be catching you soon. Bye bye.
Take care.
Bye.